Today, we reach out and find our happily ever after.
Let's unpack the magic.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello.
Welcome back to another episode, a very special episode of the Team Unicorn podcast.
It is our 10th official episode of the Team Unicorn podcast, and that number 10 also means something else to us today.
It is our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Yes, when this drops today, it will be July 27th. It will be our 10-year wedding anniversary to the day.
Yes.
And we're very excited just the way that this kind of worked out, that when we were planning this podcast, we're like, okay, if we're going to do Wednesdays, that's where this falls. And so we kind of move stuff around to make sure like this episode is number 10 on the 10-year wedding anniversary.
Yes, because you found that out as we were kind of planning out episodes, and you're like, oh, well, because initially we were going to start a week later.
I think it was almost 2 weeks later. Whoops. I'm dropping stuff left and right on the set here. So if you're watching the YouTube, get that all set to go here.
Yeah, so we moved it up so that we could have our 10th episode on our 10-year anniversary. And I think that's pretty special.
That wasn't something that we planned or figured out. It just kind of happened to be that way, because I was like going, like you said, it was going through the schedule, and I'm like, wait, like if we're dropping on Wednesdays.
Yep, our anniversary falls on a Wednesday.
Anniversary falls on a Wednesday, so I don't know what we're doing today, because we're recording this a little bit in the future, but I'm sure we're having tons of fun and just enjoying our 10-year anniversary today. But while we're recording today, we do have a very fun episode planned for you.
Yes, very fun. Something that is, I think, very near and dear to our Disney hearts.
Yes.
So I think it'll be a good discussion today.
Yes, very good discussion. But obviously, like I said, it's our 10-year wedding anniversary. So we thought it would be a good idea to go and give you listeners 10 fun facts about us.
Yeah, I thought that'd be appropriate and fun to do. So
let's start off with a fun fact about us is that we actually never met or hung out, or like we knew of each other, but like we didn't do anything until after we both graduated high school.
Yes, we started dating this summer after I graduated, which was 2009.
Yep. We went to the same elementary school, same middle school, and same high school.
We're never friends.
Never friends, never talked. Our paths never crossed. We were in some mutually same areas. Like I know I did a lot of music, and you were in choir as well.
Yep.
But like we never did anything together, hung out or
like our circle of friends. We had different circle of friends, but then they kind of like
overlapped
a little bit, and that's how we met.
We were just in that little small part of the Venn diagram that kind of worked out. So
so that's always kind of fun.
Yeah, so it's always something I always find interesting, that like we've known, or we've been in the same area for like most of our lives.
Yep.
But never crossed paths.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So another thing about us, when we bought our house, which was 2017, we bought our house, our very first house, and we've become very handy.
Yes, thanks to YouTube and people at like Menards and Home Depot.
Oh my gosh, so many trips to Menards. But we learned to drywall, and we actually drywalled the whole bottom half of our basement, which was a huge project.
Huge undertaking. And not only did we drywall the bottom half, like we had to reno the whole bottom half of the basement that we have in our house, and then like I had to go and we scraped off like the plastering drywall that was on top of everything.
Oh yeah, because they had like
a weird design.
A textured. It was textured. So I remember like we were sanding and like getting all of that off. And
so we did all that. We did all the drywall. We did everything to make it look as beautiful and nice as it is today, and that was I think a great accountment, a huge accomplishment for us.
That was like one of the biggest projects like we've done together. So and that was fun, and it turned out really nice, I think, for not knowing anything about drywall.
I mean, we have family members that do it for a living, and they said it looked good. So I mean, we must have did pretty good.
Thumbs up for us.
About our relationship, we do not have any children. Like I said, like we mentioned in previous episodes, we're very much that childless millennial Disney adult type of, I don't want to say cliche, but we do have 2 fur babies. We've talked about them in the past. We've got Maya and Lacey. Maya just turned 16 back in May, and Lacey's about 3. So we're going to stick with our dogs, stick with the puppies.
Yeah, we just got asked recently, like, when are you guys having kids? And we're like...
And we just laughed.
Yeah. We're just not on the human kids train right now. I think we just have a lot of other things we want to accomplish and do. And kids just aren't a part of that right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And they might not be a part of it ever. They might be a part of it later.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we're firmly no team kids because we've got to pay to live out our childish dreams at Disney World.
Right. Yes. All right. So another fun thing about us, and you probably notice, especially if you watch the YouTube channel, we collect lots of things.
Yes, lots and lots of things.
A lot of Funkos, because we definitely try to change out our set. But yeah, we have so many Funkos. As of right now, when we're recording, our collection sits at 685 items.
Probably, yeah. I think
Funko.
I might have added another one.
Another.
I don't remember when I took that number here.
So we're closing in on 700.
Yes, and the value is just about $19,000 worth of collectibles.
Yeah,
so.
Which just sounds crazy.
But I love them, and it all started thanks to you. You got me my first Captain America one back in, I think, 2015 or 16, and never looked back.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to see if we can maybe do like a walkthrough, because we have like our Disney area, and then we have another section for our Marvel and our Star Wars, and then
not to mention our Harry Potter.
And Harry Potter, yeah. So maybe we can do like some pictures or something.
Yeah, maybe like a small little. Maybe that would be a good Extra Magic Minutes episode.
Yeah, maybe. So stay tuned.
But Funkos aren't the only thing that we collect.
It's not the only thing. I've started a little Loungefly bag collection. I think I have 7.
I think 6 or 7 of
them. So, and that one is pretty contained just because they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, and you're very selective of which ones that you really enjoy.
Yes. Yeah. When I first started, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's just so many, and I thought they were just all really cute. And so I'm like, yeah, I want that one and that one. And then as I'm using them and wearing them, I kind of find that I like the more like solid, sparkly, sequensy one. I think it's easier to match to my outfits. So they have those, and then I also have my Minnie ears, which you've gotten into a little bit too.
Yes, I have a couple of Mickey or Minnie ears. I can definitely see that growing in the future, but we're kind of keeping it. I don't want to say tight on there, but that's still pretty contained. I think I only have about 4 pairs.
Yeah, and I think upstairs there's probably like 20.
I think in total, yeah.
Yeah, about 20 pairs of ears. So I don't think that's too bad. I don't know.
No.
So, but again, like we use that. Well, I use them a lot when we go to the parks. I like matching my outfits. So I really enjoy those. And then another thing that we collect are Christmas ornaments.
Yes, we are huge Christmas ornament fans, especially the Hallmark and Disney sketchbook ornaments.
Yes.
We used to go out into like local craft fairs and vendor shows and get like ornaments from them. And not that they weren't good or nice or anything, but we kind of like have realized like if we're going to be spending all this money to collect these ornaments, like we want to make sure like getting like the right ones and getting the ones that mean the most to us. So.
Yeah, we've definitely been more selective over the years, especially with the Hallmark ones.
Because they just get so expensive.
They do. And I think a lot of times, like, they just get really repetitive. So, like, they come out with, like, a lot of the same characters, and the designs are just slightly different. It's kind of the same thing with Funko.
Yeah,
like, they come out with, like, new characters for, like, the new movie, but then they don't really look too much different than the ones we already have.
Right.
So, and that's helped us, like, contain our collection and not go too crazy, I guess, with it.
I mean, we say that, but then we just mentioned that we have almost 700 of them. But
yeah, but that's over the course of, what did we say, like 2015, 2016 we started collecting?
Course of like 6-7 years.
Yeah, so And we've said, we've really slowed down the last couple years, and I've just been more selective as to what we're going to add to our collection.
Yeah, but with the Christmas ornaments, that is something that we look forward to every year for the Hallmark premiere, and when Disney puts out their sketchbook ornaments online. One of my favorite things to do in Disney is go into the Christmas shops and look at all the Christmas ornaments. They just keep putting out really amazing ones, and it definitely is hard to, just pull myself back to not get them all. But speaking of Christmas, we do love Christmas in general. We go all out for Christmas. Yes, it's our favorite holiday. We have 2 Christmas trees most years. I don't think we put a second one up last year just for space wise, but we have our main Christmas tree upstairs. That's just full of all of our Hallmark and sketchbook ornaments.
Right. And just like Disney, November 1st, which is also my birthday, starts Christmas here in the Martin household.
Yes. We have the Christmas tree up by November 1st. I try to get the Christmas lights on outside within that week or so, just because the weather is still nice in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Living here in Wisconsin, it's smart to get your Christmas lights up.
You don't have to put them or turn them on or anything, but at least to get them up in time.
Right.
It makes it a lot easier. But we definitely go all outside. There's too many lights to count.
Yeah,
we have 5 or 6 these huge bins full of Christmas lights, and one's just extension cords to hook everything up. We actually, when we bought the house that we mentioned before, we actually had to make sure to get an electrician to come out to put another outlet outside because
there were no outlets.
Because we needed more outlets out there.
Yep. So he added 2 outlets specifically for Christmas lights.
Yep. That's pretty much the only reason they get used.
Yep.
And, we definitely put them to good use during the winter months.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and the whole house inside is just, it's decorated all Christmassy, and we usually leave the Christmas tree up pretty well into January.
Yeah.
So
we just enjoy it. It's so pretty. We enjoy having that time, a good quarter of the year to, enjoy the collection that we've done.
Exactly. We spend a lot of time and money on our ornament collection, and I like to enjoy it for a few months. So the Christmas tree goes up early, stays up late here. So I love it. All right. So another fun fact about us is we've met the original Chicago cast of 6 before they moved on to Broadway.
Yes. And that was an incredible experience. 5 of the 6 queens from Chicago actually transferred to Broadway and originated the roles on Broadway and starred in Broadway. So that's been really fun to watch them
watch their journey.
We follow all of them on Instagram. But they were just the sweetest people, and we got their autographs and took pictures with all of them. It was just we love that show so much.
Yes, we do. That was just so fun. And then just seeing them, and I don't know, I love Sam. She's just so fun. And during quarantine she did the 100 days of a song a day.
Yes,
that was really fun. She's done that a couple more times too, not for the full 100 days, but she's really fun. And then Andrea, she's so funny.
Yeah.
We
just love enjoying
watching
them.
Yeah, we really enjoy them, and I'm really glad they got to go to the Tony Awards. I know Sam she had made a post saying she was kind of coming to terms with the fact that she just might not ever go to the Tonys or be just be in attendance and to see her dreams come true. I don't know, it's just really cool to see them grow and be on this. So I really enjoyed that. They were really fun to meet.
So I guess another fun fact, and this is going to be kind of changing gears quite a bit here.
These are just kind of we were just kind of
very random
these out as we're making our list.
Fun fact about me is I fell off a cliff and sliced off the bottom of my feet.
Would you like to explain more on that?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. When you walk up the side of a waterfall and a cliff with just Billabong sandals on and you're not prepared to be out hiking and walking up the side of waterfalls and cliffs, and just fell straight down 20 feet to the bottom of this waterfall, and just skinned the whole bottom of my feet off.
That sounds so painful every time you tell it.
Yeah, and it's one of those stories where I'm just kind of like, I don't think people like actually believe me, but the people like that were there, like they definitely, it happened. So thanks to that, I got a brand new set of pads on the bottom of my feet, I guess. So it kind of worked out. But yeah, that was a weird situation, and I just know to never, climb up the sides of cliffs and waterfalls in sandals again.
Yeah, that's a good lesson learned there. All right. Well, a fun fact about me, I did not get my driver's license until I was 27.
Yes.
So that took me a really long time. And I don't enjoy driving. Even to this day, I will do it. I have my little circle that I like going to on this side of town. And
but for the most part, I do all the driving.
Yeah,
and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, so it kind of works out. But yeah, it took me a long time. I failed a couple times, and I think I was just really discouraged. And I was like, well, if I don't drive the rest of my life, I'm okay with that. But I'm really glad I did it. I remember I remember when I took the test and I passed. You have to fill out your form to make it official.
Oh, you couldn't do it.
I couldn't fill out my form. I was shaking so bad because I couldn't believe I actually passed. So
but you did it, and it was awesome. And
yeah,
I'm super proud of you for
that. Thank you.
Yeah. One last fact that I'll give you is that when we go up to, or for our anniversary in July, we usually take a trip to Door County, which isn't too far away from us. It's just about 45 minutes an hour.
Yeah, depending how far up you want to go up.
Yep. So we'll go up there in the summertime, usually around our anniversary, go do some of the sometimes we'll do a walking trail or an observation tower. We'll go to a town and just kind of walk around, or to the beach. We like to go to cherry farms.
Yeah,
we love the cherry farms.
We've done cherry picking up there. They have a couple of really cute Christmas shops up there. Those are always must stops up there. I don't know, Door County is just that really cute town. It just has really nice small shops and really good food. There's
tons of good food.
Tons of good mom and pop kind of family owned restaurants up there. So we always make it a point to go up there at least once
a summer. It might not always be for our anniversary, but depending on when we're able to get up there. But we always try to make at least one trip up the Door County every year around that time.
Yeah, super, super pretty up there. So, and then our last fun fact that we have for you guys is since the beginning of the year, we've been pretty good about it. We've been taking a picture a day.
Yes.
Together.
That kind of stemmed from when we had COVID at the beginning, or it was after Christmas going in right into the beginning of the year. Yep. We were dealing with COVID, and I just remember we took a couple pictures at the end, after Christmas.
Yeah, New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day, we had taken one, and then I don't know, I just got the idea. I'm just well, what if we just do a picture every day this year?
Yes, and we've been sticking to it really, really well. I mean, there's some days where we'll get into bed and we're just we forgot to take the picture. And then we just take maybe the not so most flattering picture, or it might not be the
most creative
type of picture. But we do tend to get really creative and really seek out to find some fun things. Or we obviously have a lot of collectibles downstairs here in our house, so we seek out some props.
I was gonna say we definitely try to incorporate props in these pictures, and it's made for some really fun pictures. And I just love that, because I know there's times for Christmas or birthdays, we're trying to put together calendars or photo books for people, and you just kind of realize you just don't really take enough pictures
and we really noticed that a lot during 2020. We just hadn't had a lot of pictures with one another because we were just bored at the house,
right?
But even though a lot of our pictures take place in the house, we will go seek out and find different spots, different props, different ways to take these fun pictures. And I really enjoy them. So
I do too.
We'll figure out what to do with them at the end.
Yeah, like I don't know if we make some kind of like fun like year in review like photo book or I don't know. And I just like I've really come to realize like, not even with us, but like with family members and friends, like just trying to make it a point to just take more pictures together.
Right.
Like, and because like, like looking back on like your year or like years in the past, like those are what you're going to cherish and like remember. And so I just really like having those.
Yeah. And we've done really, really good job on it so far. I think so far we've only missed about 4 days.
Yeah,
I think
5 days. 4 or 5 days we've missed. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. And we'll just keep on keeping on, and we'll see what the rest of the year has in store for getting some pictures. It's very nice because when we're down at Disney, we have all like the professional photographers taking pictures of us.
I know. So, when we had
those days are so much fun because we were taking like thousands of pictures when we're down there.
Yeah, it was nice when we had our Disneyland trip back in March, and we're just like, we didn't have to worry about our picture of the day because we were just taking pictures left and right.
We had like 50 to choose from.
Right.
So today, Skimmy,
yes, tie-dye,
we are going to talk about, I won't say a divisive topic in our household, but something that we've had debates on.
I was going to say this is probably one of the things we've debated the most.
Yes, and I think both of us have come to terms with how the other one feels, but I think both of us have also, worked. How do I want to say this? We've worked each other over when it comes to this. Like we pulled each other into like the other side.
Yeah, I think a little bit.
Yeah. So for
today's topic, we are kind of, I don't want to say debating, but we are going to cover Happily Ever After versus Enchantment, the fireworks shows.
Happily Ever After was the nighttime fireworks spectacular at Magic Kingdom the first time that we went to Disney World.
Yes.
And that started in 2017.
Yep, May of 2017.
It ran up until the park closure with COVID.
Yes. So it's still running at, March of 2020.
Yep. And then it came back after the pandemic restrictions were kind of lifted a little bit. It came back on July 1st of last year, and ran until September 29th of last year.
Yeah. So what is that like?
About maybe 4 years, maybe less than that.
Yeah.
When it's all kind of said and done.
Mm-hmm. So not very long.
Yes, not very
long. Very long.
And that was replaced by Enchantments.
Yes.
That made its official debut last year on October 1st for the 50th anniversary. And to say that reviews were mixed on Enchantments is kind of an understatement.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely has a lot of good qualities to it. And I think that there are a lot of people that are very much like Enchantments, but then there's also parties like someone else at this desk that is very adamantly in Team Happily Ever After.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's where we wanted to kind of go with today's episode, is kind of to discuss both of the two, what we like, what we don't like, some things that maybe we wish that we could change.
Yeah.
And just kind of see where we are in terms of our stance on either show at the end of today's episode.
We'll give final thoughts at the end. And I think this is going to be really fun because like I said, this is like the most debated thing I think we talk about. And since Happily Ever After was replaced last year and since Enchantment debuted, I haven't really seen too much discussion about it. So
I think the discussion right away was it's not as good as Happily Ever After. And then that kind of just died. Like, it was everyone, a lot of people, I guess the people that were very vocal about it were like, nope, it's not Happily Ever After. We're done. I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more like Enchantment has been out, I feel like more people are like giving it its actual due. I feel people are coming around to the term, or to grasp the fact that like this is what our nighttime fireworks show is, and just finally admitting like it's a very good show. Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see what the response is today, because like obviously there just really isn't a lot of discussion. So I'm excited to discuss this and hear our thoughts and opinions, and then, kind of see what our listeners are thinking. Like, what were your first thoughts? What are you thinking now about, the shows? So,
So speaking of first thoughts, let's start with Happily Ever After. We kind of went over like when it was, showing. Like I said, the first time that we went to Disney World was back in January 2020. So we did get to see Happily Ever After. We actually saw this show twice. What were your initial thoughts on it?
I just loved it. Like, I think I said in another episode, like, I didn't realize, like, I didn't really know much about Happily Ever After going into it. Like, I just knew it was the fireworks show. And I didn't know that a fireworks show was going to make me cry.
Yes, like, it's a very emotional show.
It is. And I think, like, the message behind it, like, reach out and find your happily ever after. Like, to me, I initially thought, like, I want to find my true love, which is you, and I've already found that, so like that really...
So you didn't need the show then?
No, I still need the show.
If you already found your happily ever after, like, why are we talking about bringing it back? Like, we don't need it.
Like I already found you, but I think like just like being in Disney for the first time, watching this show for the first time with my happily ever after, like, it just, like, that really hit me in my feels. Like, I'm just like, okay, I get that part. And then, like, as the show is just going through and, like, building, and it just takes you on this journey of finding other, like, happily ever afters. Like, because your happily ever after doesn't have to be, like, your true love.
Yes, it's a familial love, or it's like coming to the end of a long journey and a peerless journey, and like finding like your happy place after, like, finally, like, or defeating your demons, or defeating a big task. Like, there's a lot of different meanings to it,
right? So and I think that's another reason why, like, I think that just like resonates like with so many people, and I think like so many people just like find that connection with this show. But like it just takes you on a journey, and I think it just like it tells it so well. Like, it just like it builds up in a lot of places, and then it comes down, and like it just, I don't know, and like the music and the scenes that they chose to like put in the show they were just perfect. And like it just,
and for me, like, watching the show for the first time, like, I had you standing right in front of me. I was kind of like holding you, and like we were watching this, and like I remember like it was very emotional. And like my big take out from Happily Ever After is that it's very much like your happily ever after is very much a romantic love story. Like, when I think of Happily Ever After, I think of a love story.
Yes.
And there's just a lot of like very beautiful moments, a lot of romantic moments in it, and like that's how I perceive that show. And then when Enchantment came along, it wasn't so much about a romantic love,
right?
And that's where I think a lot of people might have been turned off from Enchantment, is because, you think of like that classic Disney love story, or you can think of that classic love story, like Disney should come to mind because they have so many like classic love stories, and like the Happily Ever After fireworks show was just the epitome of all those stories. And that's where I could think where maybe some people were turned off by it, because they had this huge connection, like a romantic connection with what was happening at that show with Happily Ever After, that was, I don't want to say taken away from Enchantment, but that wasn't the main message behind Enchantment.
Right. And I think like, and I think with Enchantment, like there isn't for me, and I don't know, like, I guess I don't know like what Disney like officially has out as to like a story with Enchantment. Like, I feel like there's like more of a story with Happily Ever After, and like, going through like, your journey and your dreams, and adversity, and finding love, and then building up to this grand finale. And I don't think that's told as well in Enchantment.
And that's where I will concede and say I do agree with you on that. So before we get into how we feel about Enchantment, let's kind of explain our first exposure to Enchantment.
Okay.
So like we mentioned, it had debuted in October of 21.
Yep.
We actually, for the 50th, we actually had a trip planned for the 50th. So we actually wound up going on our first full day was October 31st. So we were there just about a month after the show debuted. And we tried so hard not to watch anything.
Yeah, we wanted to watch it in the parks for the first time.
Yeah, we wanted to go in there just completely unaware what the show was. And they did a live stream, Disney did, I think, like the first night that it debuted. And
we didn't watch it.
We didn't watch
the initial live stream.
Right. And that was something where we kind of like hemmed and hawed, like, should we not?
Yeah, well, because then that's when people were saying, like, it wasn't good. Like, they were disappointed by it. And
so then that's when we came to the conclusion, like, okay, we should watch it, which I think maybe was not the best decision. And if you had seen the original Disney live stream of it, I think you'll understand why, because it was not a great showing of it.
No, it wasn't.
That camera angles were off. It was very dark. And just the streaming quality was not great on it. So I think, and that was just more or less because it was a brand new show that I don't think that they really understood, like, where to hit certain angles from, or they didn't know, like, what the most impactful moments of that show actually are. Because you're just trying to show the entire, castle and see. But with Enchantment, like, the projections are just, some of them are so minute and so detailed on the castle. Like, you really need to, like, see it in person. And I think that's what maybe gave us kind of a disadvantage in seeing Enchantment for the first time, because we had saw it online.
Yeah, I wish we would have waited, but then, like, in the moment, like, I just, like, really I just wanted to know what it was about. I just wanted to know why people were saying it was bad. Like, is it really that bad? Because obviously replacing Happily Ever After, like, you have really big shoes to fill. And I was going into it, like, I wasn't, like, I was thinking it was going to be good, but it wasn't going to be as good. So then that way, if it blew my mind, like, that would have been amazing.
But you were disappointed by it.
I was. Like, when we watched it together for the first time, like, you were, like, really into it, and, like, we got done watching it, and I don't know exactly what you said, but something like, I don't know, that was, like, really good or something. And then I'm just kind of like,
you were like, no, that's not.
I know, like, the look on my face, I feel, was just like, what the heck did I just watch? Like, I remember, like, really disliking it. Like, I don't want to say I hated it.
No, you actively disliked it. For the longest time. And it did, I feel like your demeanor, your thought about it did change after seeing it live in person.
Yes, in person is definitely the way to see the show, especially for the first time. So I don't think that was really, like, fair of it. But even to this day, like, I still have criticisms of this show.
And we'll get into those, because to research for this episode, I know you did a lot of research and kind of went through, and you wanted to come in guns blazing and be like, I love Happily Ever After. This is why you need to love Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. But before, which maybe this wasn't the greatest idea, but before recording this podcast, we watched both shows back to back. We watched Happily Ever After and then watched Enchantment, like, literally, like, minutes before we got behind the mic here. And boy, did we cry.
Oh, gosh. The tears were coming.
you were almost immediately just hearing the first couple chords of Happily Ever After. We watched them in order.
Yeah.
And they are both incredible shows. I feel like they are both incredible shows.
Yeah. Put a little asterisk. Tyler thinks they're both incredible.
I understand the criticisms for Enchantment. I do want to get into how I think they could improve the show to be as good quality, or as, like, that superb show that Happily Ever After was. But I really do enjoy it. I absolutely find moments in there where I do feel emotional. Like, I do have teary eyes when I watch Enchantment, and that's not something that you really feel, or you really have.
I have not cried during that show, and I think that just, I don't know. I think it's just, there's like, it's fairly, like, up and down with me. Like, I love the first part of Enchantment. Like, I love the opening part until it gets to the song Almost There.
Yep.
Almost There literally sucks the life out of that show.
Yes, I think
I hate it. Like, I hate the, again, and I don't hate cover songs. Like, I enjoy cover songs. Like, I enjoy Harmonious. Like, that's all cover songs.
And we very much enjoy Princess and the Frog.
Very much
it's
so.
just, I think it was the wrong use and the wrong cover of the wrong song.
Yes.
At that spot.
Yeah, and it goes on for kind of a long time, like, you know, so it's not just like, oh, you're listening to it for 30 seconds. Like, I don't know, like, because I would have to go back and actually time it, but, you know, sitting there, it's like a couple minutes, it feels like, and it's just, the life just kind of getting sucked out of that show.
Yeah, so that would be where I would do my first correction to the show. Pick a different song, or have the actual song itself from the movie get played there.
Right, because it's too slow. It's too slow for the beginning.
And I think that's my criticism for most of, for any of the parts that I find as an issue with Enchantment, is that it's either not uplifting, or like not upbeat, I should say, or it's too slow.
Yeah.
A lot of times where the narrator comes in and talks, it just seems like there's not a lot of like oomph behind it.
Yeah.
Or like a good soundtrack accompanying to it. So yes, I'll agree with you that is the first place where I would do some changes in that. But when that scene happens, I think once it changes over to you get Miguel and the Cocoa Bridge.
Yeah.
Once it kind of like all those flowers come through, and then it changes into Moana. That section is where it really starts to pick up for me, and that's where I'm like, okay, I really like this.
Yeah.
My only, like, that's the music part of it and the fireworks part of it, like, that's where I really enjoy, or starting to enjoy it. My only criticism with that part is that some of the projections are very stagnant. When you have Raya come on, she just stands there with her sword over her shoulder and stands there for like 20 seconds, not moving, not blinking, it doesn't seem like she's doing anything, while Sisu kind of goes up around the castle. That's got to change. So like some of those projections just seem kind of like, they're not actually like animating them, and I feel like that's a lot of parts of it. It's just the animation just doesn't seem. The projections themselves are nice and clean and crisp, but the animation that goes with them.
Yeah, see, and I don't know, like, I have, until we watched this last video, like, every time I watched Enchantment, and even in the parks, like, I feel like some of the projections for me are hard to see. Like, sometimes it's hard to kind of clearly make out all the, like, the characters that they're trying to pop or project on there. And I don't like that.
Yeah. So that would be where I would make another suggestion. Better or more animation or more movement in some of the animation that they're putting up on the castle.
Because I think that's one of the good things, like, about Happily Ever After, is like, I think like the scenes that they chose, like, they made them bigger. Like, I feel like the ones on Enchantment, like, they're just like small little circles of.
And with Happily Ever After, a lot of what happens in those animations, like, they make the castle look like they're part of that scene. So when you have Out There, which I know is one of your favorite parts of Happily Ever After, like, you're actually in like the cathedral, and like the whole castle looks like it's the cathedral. Whereas some of in the projections in Enchantment, it's just like wavy pink and blues, and it doesn't, like, it just kind of covers the side of the castle, but it's not actually like, going up brick by brick, or kind of formatting itself along all the embellishments on the castle. And I think the weirdest part for me about Enchantment is I don't like the movie Soul. But I think when it gets to Soul, and like and they're playing the piano, and like you're in like the Soul realm, I absolutely love that on the castle. I think that's perfect. It's so beautiful. And then that whole entire scene after that, where you get into like the Mary Blair type-esque characters.
I do like those. Those are cute.
And then you get a lot of what happened in Happily Ever After, where you get like Wreck-It Ralph and Toy Story and Cars and it's along the same lines of what they did in the middle of Happily Ever After. It's just obviously different songs. My only complaint about that section, get lyrics to the songs. When you're listening to Be Our Guest, like, I want to hear Lumiere and Cogsworth. I want to hear Angela Lansbury singing. Like, if they could get Robin Williams, the voice for Robin Williams, or get the okay to use Robin Williams' voice in Friend Like Me in Happily Ever After, like, there's no reason they couldn't get Angela Lansbury's voice, or when they do Under the Sea, have it actually be sung. It's all instrumental, and I think that's just where, like, if you did that, you just be taking it one notch further to really make it beautiful.
I think so too. Yeah, because I don't mind instrumental, but it's such a long piece. Like, it's a long part of the show, and I think having some lyrics, I think, would definitely help, like, lift that up.
Yeah. So, and they do that, I think, much better in Happily Ever After. I know there's probably sections where you can be like, yeah, that's so much better there. But Happily Ever After definitely, I feel, did some of the music better than Enchantment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So, do you have any other, like, parts that you, like, really like about Enchantment?
I do. I really like, and I know that you don't like the cover of it, but I do like the Into the Unknown section.
I've had that in my notes as one of my favorite parts.
Oh, really? Yes. I know after the first time you didn't really like that cover of it, and I really do personally enjoy that cover of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess the cover, like it's good. For me, I really like how they did Elsa with her shooting her powers up and having the fireworks come out. Like, that I had in my notes as one of my favorite parts of Enchantment.
And they did that really well in a couple spots in Happily Ever After, where, like, you have Merida shooting her bow and it comes off, and then there's the firework that shoots off the side of the castle. Or Mulan had put a rocket in, and then she shoots it up.
Yeah.
They did that a couple times in Enchantment, but I think nothing was as good as Elsa's. I think between either show, Elsa just
shooting her
powers up and having it come off at the right time on the building was just incredible. Like, I remember watching that for the first time, like, even in the live stream, and I'm just like, how did they, like, figure, like, who came up with this idea? Like, this was such a good idea.
Yeah, I really like that. There was another part. There's a couple other parts that I before I don't know, like, I guess I didn't really go into my criticisms, but I really like in the beginning of Enchantment, well, pretty much the whole opening scene, I enjoy that. But my favorite part is the three fairies coloring the castle in the beginning. That is one of my favorite parts. And yeah, with Elsa and her powers.
That whole section, just while you're looking for your notes, in that whole section, I really love the fact that it's a very beautiful, colorful castle, but the characters are silhouettes. So it almost looks like the characters are on the castle, and, like, they're shooting like a spotlight at the character, and you're only seeing the silhouette of them on the castle. So, like, Rapunzel's like that, but then all of a sudden her golden hair comes flowing through and wrapping around the spikes on the castle. Like, I felt like that was such a good use of the space on the castle and of that hair.
Yeah.
But, like, they did that with the fairies. I think they did that with the blue fairy from Pinocchio and Peter Pan. A lot of those are just silhouettes, and I thought that was a really good place to maybe minimalize the action on the castle to really maximize the effect.
Yeah, and that's why I had in my notes that, like, I don't know, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that opening with, and, like, the three fairies and with Ian and his staff, and, like, and then the fireworks are coming out of that. Like, I like that part. There's a couple other parts that I really enjoy. The Into the Unknown with Elsa and shooting her powers. Tink lighting up the castle at the end. I like how they projected it on. I don't like the not so great build up to her, but I do like her lighting up the castle.
And I think the Happily Ever After did such a good job building up that you can fly, and, like, you kind of, like, you're expecting it, but you're not expecting to all of a sudden just see Tinkerbell flying off the castle, waving her wand, and like really just like at that point, they're just shooting color and shooting sparkles and everything out of that castle at that point. When they do it in Enchantments, like you said, it's not as big of a build-up.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very good build-up. They just need like additional, maybe like an additional orchestra behind it or something else.
Yeah, a little more oomph.
Just a little bit more of an oomph.
But I do like the colors like on the castle.
Oh, it's so beautiful on the castle with the rainbow that goes up.
Yeah, so that was another part. I know we talked about like the Mary Blair style in there. Like I really like that. And I guess like what has made me I guess like Enchantment more is like, so Shelby from Pixie Lee, she's a big Happily Ever After fan, and when she saw Enchantment for the first time, she had made the comment, if you think of Enchantment as kind of like the sequel for Happily Ever After, like, so in Happily Ever After, like, you are the key to unlocking your own magic. Like, you need to, just go out, find your Happily Ever After, and then in Enchantment, like, you are the magic. Like, you're like,
you are the key. You didn't need to find the key because you are the key.
Yeah. So looking at it and trying to watch the show from that perspective has definitely changed it for me. And I enjoy that because I don't want to hate on this show. Like, when I go to Magic Kingdom, like, I like seeing fireworks at the end of the night, and I want to be able to enjoy the show. And I think looking at it and thinking about it from that perspective has really helped, and I like that. So I just think overall the show could use some oomph, some small changes to help it along. And I know we're not going to get that, but I guess dealing with like what we have and looking at it from that perspective, I can enjoy the show better.
Yeah.
From that.
Definitely. And I think that there's, like you said, there's good spots to build on Enchantments, because like the base of the show I think is a very good concept. It's a good story. It's just like with you, like you said, or you mentioned earlier, it's hard to follow that story sometimes, or it takes a while to like figure out like what is the actual story.
Yeah.
Like you eventually figure it out at the end of the show. It just takes a while to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, like the storyline isn't as great. For me, like I think the projections on it, like they're for me, they're hard to see. So then it makes it hard to kind of to follow. And then, like the music, like starting it out with Almost There and that rendition that they did with it, like really just brings it down for me. And then, but then there's like other parts that I really like that'll lift it up, but then it'll kind of fall back down. Like I don't like as many of the transitions as I do in Happily Ever After. But I do enjoy the beginning part. I do enjoy the ending. And then you have Elsa in the middle with her powers and like the Mary Blair in the middle. So I can kind of like the beginning, middle, and end, for the most part. And then, just having that perspective, like, the kind of like the sequel, like you are the magic,
Yeah.
Like it's overall.
That's a good way to put it, because I guess I never like looked at it that way. But when you put it in like this is the sequel, that like it makes a lot more sense as to what they were going for with Enchantment, or like the main story behind it.
And I think that kind of fits because like most of the time the sequels just aren't as great as the originals. So, and I think that kind of falls in line with this too.
I do want to get into just a final couple criticisms, or I don't want to say criticisms, because I really do enjoy.
Yeah, you really enjoy. I do enjoy show.
Enchantment.
And I'm getting there. It's taken me a long time.
Yes,
like.
And we are actually in the process of planning another Disney trip right now, and I think one of the biggest issues with us is trying to figure out when and how to watch Enchantments, or I just say fireworks in general. But like, I really want to make sure to see Enchantment twice when we're down there, because like when I think of going to Disney, I think of ending the night on with that perfect fireworks show, and
me too.
Just with what we kind of have in store and in mind and when we're going, because we're going to be going around the holiday time. It's kind of hard to figure out that, but like we've been having this conversation about firework shows in general quite a bit recently. To finish off what I feel like would really make Enchantment just like the perfect show, or the perfect replacement. Because I don't think I will ever convince you that Enchantment is the perfect show.
Right.
There will never be a time where you're going to say Enchantment is better than Happily Ever After.
No, not ever.
I think what Happily Ever After did very, very well, and what Enchantment really lacked on, was their transitions.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of time where the music seems like it's starting to build up, and then it plateaus right before it needs to like really crescendo and really hit it. And no place does it do that more right at the end, where all of your heroes that you've been following finally realize like they are the magic. And then you have Moana's kind of like overture come over, and like she should at the end sing "I am Moana," and then like it just stops.
It does, yeah.
And that makes me so mad.
And they don't put the words in there, and I don't know if that's because they don't want to like make it specific to Moana. But yeah, you don't get any like "I am whatever," like you know, I am the magic, you know, or something.
That is where I think something needs to change. Like change the overture, change the progression of it, do something, because it gets there. Like I'm feeling it, and I'm just kind of like it falls flat right at the end, and then it goes blank. It goes quiet.
Dark. Yeah, because then Angela Bassett comes on again.
Yes.
And starts talking, and
I'm just like, that is my biggest critique of the show. Out of anything that you're going to take away from me, coming from someone who very much loves this show, that is the one spot that needs to get changed. That is the one spot that you can ignore everything else I said, but that chord right at the end there, it's such a letdown to me. And then Angela Bassett comes on and talks a little bit more, and then they get into the song itself, which is an absolute love.
Yes, I
love that song.
I love that song too.
As much as like the single "Happily Ever After" by Jordan Fisher, like we listened, like that's I feel like that's been like our Spotify #1 song the last like 5 years now, or not, however long it's been. But like that has been like a song that we love and enjoy so much. I do love "You Are the Magic," but the way that they use it at the beginning of the show is great. The way they use it at the end of the show is pretty good. But like, I want at the very end of the show, as the fireworks are popping off, I don't want Angela Bassett to say "You Are the Magic." I want to hear this huge choir just belt out this huge crescendo, like, "You are the magic," and then like you have those trumpets going off in the background. That's the perfect way to end this show. I don't know what the decision, if they tried that and they didn't like it and they wanted Angela Bassett. Like, we were watching it just before we came onto the podcast. I liked it a little better because it had been a little bit since we had watched it. And I'm just like, okay, this is still good, but like,
it doesn't leave me feeling like, yeah, I am the magic. I'm going to go spread that like pixie dust all over the place. And yeah, I agree. Like, it just, and I think that's just the theme with this is like, it falls flat. Like, just when you think it's going to start building and get to that big spot, like it doesn't. And yeah, I definitely agree. Like, it needs that big Disney finale at the end, and it doesn't have it.
And I think the projections do it justice, and the fireworks do it justice. It's just that the song and the message that is the audio to it, that is what's missing.
Well, yeah, because she literally just says, "You are the magic," and I'm just like, and then that's not very inspiring.
And even if she says that, then like she could still say that, but then after that, have that big choir of people singing.
But it doesn't
have that, and that's just it's very upsetting to me, because I feel like that could be like the perfect ending to it.
Well, that's the thing. This show could be so great. It's just it's not. I don't know. Like, and I think, like I said, like, it had such big shoes to fill after Happily Ever After, and it was debuting during the 50th.
And that was another thing that I think kind of turned you off to it, that it debuted for the 50th. It was their big 50th fanfare. You know, this is like what we're doing to put out for Walt Disney World's 50th. But
there's no
50th
celebration in this. Like,
right.
I guess if you want to like try to spin it as like Disney magic, you are the magic kind of thing, but like that's hardly anything. But yeah, there's no mention of Walt, there's no mention of Roy like taking over this Florida project to make Walt's dream come true down there. Like there's nothing. Like, you're debuting this during the 50th, and I think that was definitely a big criticism of people, and like that's definitely a big criticism of mine. And I don't know if that's because like this is the fireworks show that's going to stay after the 50th, so they didn't want to make it too specific, but I'm like, it just change it. Like, I think you need to add 50th anniversary elements in there. You need to add, I don't know, like more classic, like, I don't know, like more like Sherman Brothers, more like, you know, Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
And I feel like you felt that hit pretty hard when we were in Disneyland and we got to see their fireworks show. Actually, we weren't actually. No, we watched it.
We watched it.
We watched the Disneyland Forever fireworks show, and they do mention
Walt because they say, like, I don't know, however many years ago, like, you would be standing in an orange field, and Walt made this like, he saw a theme park here, he made it come true, or however they word it. And I'm like, if they can do that in a Disneyland fireworks show, why can't they do that for the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World? Like, I think it needed that, and I think had they added anything to the current show about any of that, like, it would have elevated it for a lot of people. Like, they would have been like, yeah, it's maybe not the greatest fireworks show, but it's a tribute to Walt and his dream that he wanted to build down here.
And maybe that's what some people were expecting, so that when it didn't happen, that's when they were just like,
I think that was just another, like, I don't know, another, like, check off, you know,
a detractor to the
like, I don't know, this is another reason why I don't like this show kind of thing.
And for me, it never needed a Walt 50-year tribute to it. I look at it that this debuted during the most magical celebration in the world's most magical place, and the theme is "You Are the Magic."
Yeah, that's why I get that.
It does stay true to the 50th meaning because of where it is, but it's not celebrating specifically 50 years.
Yeah, I guess. But like, when you're like, I mean, they were, you know, hyping up the 50th, like, this is their 50th, you know, anniversary fireworks show, and like, there just wasn't any of that in there, and I think that was a disappointment, especially for me. Like, I don't know, just knowing what we know about Walt, and I don't know, I think he deserved that.
Yeah, and I've gone on record several times that as much as I do enjoy Happily Ever After, I do understand, like, it was going to be replaced eventually. People were like just so adamantly Wishes, and then Happily Ever After replaced that. I am sure I'll probably annoy or upset some people by saying this, but I don't like Wishes. I've never liked Wishes. I specifically don't even like the song Wishes. Like, and you've watched it.
I've watched Wishes. Like, I haven't seen it in person, obviously, but I love Wishes, and I would actually like. So Happily Ever After's first.
If you're gonna I'm gonna cut this mic off before you say it.
I would put Wishes before Enchantment. I would.
That's such
like, and I haven't even seen that in person, but from what I've seen on the YouTubes and the videos, like, I like it better.
That's a no for me.
And and then my other criticism too is that, so they let Wishes run for 14 years. They gave Happily Ever After like 3.5 years. That's not fair. That is not fair at all.
I know, but
it's not. And I know I think there was some talk about like turning Happily Ever After, like adding like 50th anniversary elements in there and maybe updating the show. And I wish they would have ran with that idea.
I could see that, and that would have been nice to do. but you sound very much like a Disney World purist, where you want to have the things that you love stay forever and don't want things to change.
That's the thing is, like, I don't want to be that person, but I feel like in this situation, like, you have a beloved fireworks show that everyone loves that hasn't run for that long. Like, I think had it been running for, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, like maybe it was closing in on 10 years, then yeah, I would say, okay, maybe it's time to update it. But having it just debut in 2017 and then having it not even play during the pandemic, it didn't get its time, I don't think. And
I
then
agree with that.
And then you're gonna, you want to do something for the 50th, like, then do something great for the 50th, or maybe just do something temporary for the 50th and then bring Happily Ever After back. Yeah. I guess that's my hope right now, is that Enchantment will run for the 50th, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll bring back Happily Ever After.
Or maybe they might do something completely new.
Or that too. I don't know. I just feel like they didn't do Enchantment justice with replacing Happily Ever After. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say they set it up to fail, because obviously it's still running and it's not like an awful show. It just wasn't worthy of replacing Happily Ever After, and, not having those 50th anniversary elements in there, for me personally.
And I'm A-okay with it. I do enjoy Enchantment a lot. I sleep easy knowing that I can still watch Happily Ever After online whenever I so feel like it. But I'm always aware of the fact that Disney is always going to be changing.
Yeah.
And there always is going to be something that is going to be my favorite that they're going to eventually take away, or replace, or do something, that I'm going to deem unworthy with. But there's always going to be something else that fills in the shoes, which I think we can very much say that Harmonious has filled in those shoes of Happily Ever After.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of the same,
sure.
A lot of the same music and the same beats,
yes,
from Happily Ever After did get transferred over to Harmonious, which I don't know if maybe just because Harmonious was probably something that was in the works alongside Happily Ever After, or alongside Enchantment, or even before that, like they got like the better picking of the songs. But I do feel like the music and the soundtrack to Harmonious is much better than the soundtrack to Enchantment.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just a casualty of what happened to replacing Happily Ever After, or wanting that huge nighttime spectacular back at Epcot. But I can rest easy knowing that I might not have Happily Ever After, but I do have Harmonious.
Yes.
And then as like a bonus, I also have Enchantment.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to be that person that is just gonna complain and, be upset and mad that, my favorite things are getting replaced. Like, I just want them to have, like, a worthy replacement, I guess. And I'm getting there with Enchantment. Like, I will still watch it. Like, when we go on our next trip, like, I still would like to see it twice. Like, and when we just watched it, I'm just like, it's not too bad. Like, I still enjoy it. It just doesn't, I just don't have that connection with it as I do with Happily Ever After. And that's just, I just don't think there's anything, like,
in your mind, there's nothing that's going to replace Happily Ever After, at least anytime soon.
So, and I guess if, like, Enchantment replacing Happily Ever After is like my version of other people's, like, oh, the Great Movie Ride got replaced by Mickey and Minnie, is because I feel like that's the one that gets brought up the most about, being replaced or whatever. But I'm not gonna say Enchantment is horrible and bad and you shouldn't watch it, because you still should watch it. It's still a good fireworks show. I just don't think it was worthy of replacing Happily Ever After during the 50th anniversary.
I'll take that.
So.
Well, we've had a lot of fun discussing this.
Yeah.
We feel like we have this conversation a lot.
Oh God, especially after, like, we saw Enchantment for the first time. Like, I don't want to say we were fighting, but
like, I think I almost made you mad that I was okay that
Enchantment I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, but yeah, it's definitely something that's needed time. And, I've, seen it in person. We've watched it, a few other times on the YouTubes, and it's definitely, I'm being more okay with it. Like, this is the fireworks show that we get. It's still good. I'm still going to want to watch it and enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah.
So.
But we wanted to finish today's episode, maybe working together as a team instead of kind of like combating against each other when it comes to this.
Yes, and it is our anniversary.
Since it is our anniversary, we're going to go through and do a little quiz here. It is straight from Disney Rewards. We do have the Disney Rewards Visa card, and that's where this quiz is out of. We can link it in the description for today's episode as well for you to do. So if you don't want to hear the answers or hear what we think, or you go ahead and just pause and go ahead and do that real quick. But we're gonna play this little quiz on how well do we know other Disney couples.
Yeah, this seems appropriate.
Yeah, it seems appropriate for the 10-year anniversary. Do you want me to read the questions first?
Sure.
All right. So question number 1 on here is a Tangled themed question. What did Rapunzel do when she met Flynn for the first time? Did she give him a hug? She locked him in a closet, hit him with a frying pan, or she sang a song to him?
Frying pan all the way.
100%. There we go. Question number 2. This one we're gonna need. I think we're gonna need the multiple choice for. Mickey and Minnie are Disney's most iconic couple. In what short cartoon did they first appear together?
Ooh, I don't know this one.
Crazy Plane, Steamboat Willie, The Three Musketeers, or Yoo-Hoo? I believe it's Crazy Plane. I believe that was
Plane Crazy.
Or sorry, Plane Crazy.
Okay.
Because I remember like watching the short where like I think like Mickey and Minnie like used like their underwear as like umbrellas, or not umbrellas, but parachutes.
Yeah, parachutes. Okay.
So
let's go with that one.
Let's go with Plane Crazy. Hey. All right, we got a Nightmare Before Christmas question. True or false? Sally and Jack Skellington's love song is the last scene of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh goodness.
Now we've seen this movie once. Well, I've seen it twice.
I think we've seen it twice.
I don't remember you very much liking or trying to even make it through the first time we watched it.
Well, I think the first time we watched it, we started it so late. We were both like really tired. So, and yeah, it's definitely not my I'm just not a big Tim Burton fan. That's just not my style. But, I don't remember. Do you know?
I don't. We have a 50-50 chance at it. So
I don't think that's true. I don't know.
Let's say false.
Sure.
All right.
It's true.
Hey, even nightmares can have happy endings sometimes. Oh, we got an up question.
Ooh.
What does young Carl swear he'll do for his childhood sweetheart, Ellie?
Take her to Paradise Falls, I'm pretty sure.
Marry her, work with her at the zoo, get a talking dog someday, or take the clubhouse to Paradise Falls.
The clubhouse to Paradise Falls.
Cross your hearts. Cross it. All right. We got that one right, obviously. Yeah. Which of these does Cogsworth not recommend the Beasts give to Belle in their courtship? Books, flowers, chocolates, or promises you do not intend to keep? That last one is in quotes, and that definitely seems like a Cogsworth thing to say.
he says that one. I think it's books, because I think he mentions flowers and chocolates, doesn't he?
But yeah, it's weird because, like,
promises you don't intend to keep. But then he does show her the library. I just don't think Cogsworth says books.
Because I think Belle kind of like is like, what is that done? So let's say books.
Yeah, I think it's books.
It is books. Yeah, correct. All right, question number 6. What word do Jasmine and Aladdin say at the same time when they first meet? Love, trapped, wish, and punctual.
It's trapped.
Trapped it is. All right. Which of these Disney love songs won an Academy Award for Best Original Song? I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules, Love is an Open Door from Frozen, Once Upon a Dream from Sleeping Beauty, or Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King? It's definitely not Frozen because that wasn't.
Yeah. I don't think it's her. My guess would be Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King?
That would be mine as well.
I don't know this one for sure, though, but that's what I would guess.
It's either going to be that or Once Upon a Dream.
Yeah.
Want to do Lion King?
Sure.
Let's... I don't know if like Disney would have submitted Can You Feel the Love Tonight or The Circle of Life or both of them.
Yeah.
Let's go with Lion King.
Okay.
And we got it right.
Yep.
All right. Question number 8. Where does Tiana and Prince Naveen's wedding take place? In the Bayou, the French Quarter, the Kingdom of Maldonia, or Tiana's restaurants?
Do they go back to his kingdom?
I would think that they would have to go back to his kingdom because that's where he was the prince of, but like it doesn't make sense.
I don't think they really show that though, them going back there.
Is this like Tiana and Prince Naveen as like a frog?
Oh.
Because they have their wedding in the bayou, they kiss, and then they turn back into human because she's in her green dress. So it's got to be the bayou. And then they might have like
and then I think they show the party at the end. Okay. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're reading too much into that. There's if you take the quiz, there's also pictures that go along with this
too. The picture is deceiving.
The picture is very much deceiving because you forget like, oh yeah, they were like a frog for like 3/4 of the movie. When Prince Philip and Princess Aurora meet in the forest, they waltz, ride horseback, swim in the lake, run away from each other. Waltz.
Yeah, they dance.
Yeah, they dance. 100%. Got him. All right. Question 10. True or false? Prince Charming was the last one who put the glass slipper on Cinderella's foot.
That's true. I'm pretty sure it was him.
It wasn't like the other guy with the monocle and the mustache?
No, because the shoe gets broken and she's like, oh, I have the other pair. And then I'm pretty sure Prince Charming comes over and puts it on her.
That's too true then, right?
Okay, yeah. Oh, nope.
It was the Grand Duke who first places a slipper on Cinderella's foot before rushing her back to Prince Charming's castle.
Oh.
See, I wasn't sure. That one's been a while since we've seen.
One's been a while.
In the 1950s cartoons, Donald Duck had a special love song for Daisy Duck. What's the name of that song? I
didn't know there was a song.
I did not know there was a song. I have no idea. Is it Lucky Duck, Crazy Over Daisy, Quacking Up, or Splashing into Love?
Oh my gosh, these are so cute.
They should all be songs.
I want it to be Crazy Over Daisy.
Let's do it.
That one.
It is.
Oh, nice.
All right, we got to find that one and add it to our Spotify.
Yeah, I want to listen to that now.
All right, number 12. Where does the prince first meet Snow White? Outside the dwarf's cottage, in the magic mirror, in a dream, or at the wishing well?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen this. Something's pushing me towards the wishing well. Yeah, I guess that's what I would guess. Yeah.
Hey, okay. There we go. During the romantic boat ride, something prevents Prince Eric and Ariel from kissing for the first time. What happens? Ariel turns back into a mermaid, their boat gets knocked over, King Triton causes a storm, or Eric realizes there are animals singing to him. That's it. That's easy. It's the last one, right?
No, I'm pretty sure their boat gets knocked over, doesn't it?
Does it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's D. I don't know. Go with what you think. I'll
go with what you think. So the boat gets knocked over. Okay, it is that.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that happens.
All right. What is this? And question 14 is, what is Celia's loving nickname for Mike Wazowski? Is it Monster Face, Googly Bear, Cutie Boo, or Short, Green, and Handsome?
Googly Bear.
It's Googly Bear.
Yeah.
And our last question here. What gift does Anna give Kristoff that prompts their first kiss? Is it a medal, a sweater, a sled, or a reindeer grooming kit?
A new sled.
It's a new sled.
She kind of broke the other one.
Yeah, she kind of had to do that.
Yeah.
All right. And we got 13 out of 15.
Yeah.
So
a very good
score. Talk about a charming score. Your knowledge of famous couples has flourished from a pumpkin to a royal coach. And you didn't even need a fairy godmother. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good on that.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I mean, there were some of them like I didn't even know that those were things. But we gotta
we
gotta find that Crazy Over Daisy song.
Yes, I want to listen to that one now. Well, this has been really fun, and I'm really glad we got to discuss Happily Ever After versus Enchantment. I know that's been a pretty debated topic for us. So
and that was like one of the first episodes that we were like, yes, we definitely need to do
this we definitely wanted to do that one. And I'm really curious to hear what other people maybe initially thought about Enchantment and what they think about it now. Like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on Happily Ever After? Are you like which fireworks show is your favorite? Are you like Wishes, Happily Ever After, or Enchantment?
You don't have to hit Wishes, like it's fine. Like I understand that. But yeah, no, we'll put something down in the comments here. You know, definitely come on over to our Instagram page and vote. We'll throw a poll up on that.
Throw a poll up.
So that'd be fun. But yeah, this has been really fun. I'm so glad that this worked out, that we were able to do this on our 10-year wedding anniversary. It's just the stars kind of aligned for this to happen.
It really did. And with how much Happily Ever After means to us individually and as a couple, and what that really means for our relationship, I'm really glad that we got to do this together, and happy 10-year anniversary.
Yes, happy 10-year anniversary to Happily Ever After.
Yes.
I love you too. All right. Well, for today's episode of the Team Unicorn podcast, I am Tyler.
And I'm Sammy.
And it's been magical.